My name's Jimmy Jackson. I'm part of the Florida Engineering Society Myakka chapter. It covers Sarasota, Manatee, and DeSoto counties. And I'm also a local geotechnical engineer with Terracon Consultants. We're here today for the MathCounts competition. It's a math competition for middle school age students. After this competition, they'll proceed to the state competition. And then from there, there's a national competition. We've been doing this for about 30 plus years. This is my third year of being the coordinator for the local competition. This is also our third year at St. Stephen's. So in the morning, there's individual and team rounds. Currently, they're taking the team round test. And then in the afternoon, we take a look at who scored the best from the morning session, and they do a kind of Jeopardy-style competition, head-to-head, to determine a final first through 10th place individual. Yeah, so this year we had 17 schools. One of those schools is actually a home school, and we have about 150 students who ended up participating. It's continued to grow. It's about the same as last year, but I know a few years ago we only had 12 or 13 schools, so definitely in the last 3 or 4 years it's grown significantly, and we've actually had a lot more female students participating than years past. I mean, most of these problems, I've looked at them. I'm an engineer with a graduate degree. I can't solve most of these problems. Correct. I believe the prep work starts right in October, around that time frame. The teachers start getting the students prepared. They do practice sessions, and then from there they kind of select the best few kids who are, performing well, and they kind of put them together as a team. I think the MathCounts competition is important because it kind of influences the students to get more involved in mathematics, which directly translates to the STEM type curriculum. And this is kind of the age where they're like little sponges, so if you get them now, then they'll continue on through high school and hopefully through college. So if you can get them early, get them involved, and get them to enjoy this type of work, then it'll just be better off for all of us in the future. This competition was going on when I was in school. I don't recall doing it myself, but I know there's plenty of engineers that are volunteering here today that were part of their local MathCounts competitions. I think the parents should really push their kids to, take a harder look at math and not just write it off. There's a lot of great jobs, and it's going to continue growing into the future, so a lot of them are math-oriented.
The program has been on for 33, 34 years. Florida was one of the first states to do it. It's a program for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, math competition all across the United States, the territories, and military bases across the world. Students from this competition will advance to the state competition in Orlando, and winners from that advance to nationals. And we think it's very important locally for middle school students to stay engaged in engineering and math so that they can become a future engineer. We represent the Florida Engineering Society, and we try to make sure that we're growing the future engineers and keeping them involved in math. Well, we feel that the MathCounts program is very essential, especially at the middle school level, because I guess studies have shown that this is the age where students lose interest in math or fail to see why it's important. And if we can keep them engaged in mathematics at this level, treat it as like a athletic competition. The students are called mathletes, and they can excel and get medals and trophies just like a sports athlete, and it's very rewarding for all kids. Well, it's important that for diversity in every profession is important, and I will say that over the 30 or more years that I've been involved with it, the gender break has gone dramatically from male-dominated to this year and past several years, the majority of the student competition is female. The students have to be naturally interested in mathematics, but they have to have a coach. Every school, and in fact there are some groups here that are homeschoolers that come together for the competition, but it's very important that they have a coach. And the way the more and more demands are placed on teachers these days, the last thing they need is another extracurricular activity, but the teachers are at least as dedicated, and we cannot do the program without those teacher coaches. I think it's the market has shown the parents that a nerd can become a billionaire. Look at your Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. Being a garage geek is a path to a fortune these days, and whereas math was a dead end once upon a time, it's now perceived as a way to make an impact in the world. Correct. We try to make sure that it's not just a final exam or something like that. We do try to introduce some cheering and competition against each other at the venue. In the afternoon sessions, you'll see a lot more vocal participation and support and rah, rah, rah from the crowd. So we really encourage a very community involvement. We try to draw upon the engineering community as we are the host society, but we try to get volunteers from consulting world, from the public sector. Manatee County employees are well represented here today. As you mentioned, retired engineers, people who just cannot let go of the program. They've been involved for so long, and they can't imagine life without MathCounts. Yes, and fortunately, we try to do all the roadie work while they're having fun and eating lunch right now, but they've just spent the morning in a test environment, written exams, with or without calculators. Now the afternoon is going to become more of a audience participation or spectator sport now, with rapid fire questions and very, very, very much a higher drama level at this point. We have 17 official schools participating, and again, at least one of those teams is a consortium of homeschoolers, but as well there are many, probably 1/3 of the students are representing as an individual or as an alternate on a main team. And as I mentioned, this is an opportunity for students who may not be looking for going to NCAA. This is an opportunity for everyone to participate at a competitive level and challenge their mind.
The event is a middle school math competition that's put on by the Florida Engineering Society, Myakka chapter, which is the local chapter of the Florida Engineering Society. We've got about 200 members. It's strictly a math competition, and the reason we think it's important is that we're trying to instill in students beginning in middle school an appreciation for mathematics, and hopefully what happens is they recognize that appreciation, and as they go through school, through high school and hopefully college, they realize how important mathematics is to being successful. We're fortunate enough to have 17 middle schools represented, both from Manatee and Sarasota County. And if a middle school wants to compete, they have to have a coach who agrees to sign the team up, and then they've got to have at least 4 members. If they want to, they can have as many as 10 members who will compete in the competition. The entire morning is devoted to written tests. There are 3 different tests that occur, all have mathematical questions, and then the student's total score on all of those 3 tests is part of the total for the individual students. The afternoon is more of a spontaneous type of math competition. Students will participate as a team in that first round, and they look up at a question that's on the screen. They've got 60 seconds to give us the right answer. Whoever gives us the right answer in the quickest time gets more points, and then they go from 5 down to 1, and that is the team competition called ciphering. The second round, we take the top 10 students, in other words, the ones who scored the top in the morning, and we have them compete against each other in an elimination. So we take student number 10, student number 9. Again, we show them a question on the board. Whoever gets the best out of 3 of those questions moves on. And then they just eliminate each other, and they get down to about the 4th round where it gets a little hairier because the winner has to answer 3 questions correctly. So we wind up at the end with whoever's left in the elimination wins. Absolutely. The students they move to a state competition that's held about a month from now, and depending upon how they do in the state competition, they can wind up in Washington, D.C. at the National MathCounts event. Well, it's important because if we don't get any volunteers, it gets to be a madhouse in here trying to get the scores marked before the next thing happens during the day. But yes, they're all volunteers. Mostly everybody is an engineer, could be a family member. We've actually had some folks from St. Stephen's who have dropped in. High school students came in and helped us mark school tests. Well, we think it's important because mathematics is in our daily life, whether we decide to become, engineers and go to college, or whether we decide to do some type of non-college related profession. Math never leaves the workplace. So from time to time you're going to deal with it, and so we think it's important that everybody get an appreciation of mathematics.
My name is Terry Hoover. I'm a professional electrical engineer, and I'm retired, so I have lots of time, and so I'm here running the scoring room. Well, the kids are taking written tests in the morning, and the first test consists of 30 questions, and the second test has 8, and the last one is a team round, and we're responsible for scoring all of these tests to get results back to the team so they can decide who's our winners and who's going to advance to our state competition. Well, I think that it gives an opportunity for them to show off their math skills and be with other people who love math as much as they do. And it gives us an opportunity to mingle with them and to show them, what an engineer does and what we're like, and try to inspire them to continue in engineering or another STEM field. But I just think it's a lot of people think math is hard, but these kids will show you how easy it is. I mean, my gosh, they answer these questions like nothing. Well, we try to. I mean, we're a little isolated here in the scoring room from what's going on out there, but one of my favorite parts when we finish with this is to go out and watch them and cheer on their friends. That's what gets me, is the kids get up there and start getting right answers, and the kids that are sitting in the stands get just as excited as the kids up on the stage do. So I think that's part of what I said about making it fun and inspiring them that math is a good thing. The 17 schools that we have this year is been a good record for the past few years, but in the beginning we'd have as little as 7 or 9 or 10 or something like that. So yeah, we've seen it grow, seen a lot more diversity, seen a lot more girls, yay girls, coming into the competitions and stuff. I hope that when they're sitting there competing next to all the other kids, that they learn that they're just as smart and they can answer the questions just as well, and sometimes they do it better than their male buddy. So it just, again, shows them that math is for everybody. And it's not for any one particular gender or, person or whatever. So I think it's important to everybody. I mean, math is used in every piece of your life, and whether you plan to go on into a STEM career or not, math is something that you're just going to use always. I know there's calculators nowadays, but I think every parent should look to make sure their kid does well in math.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Brown. I work at Heron Creek Middle School in Northport. I teach 7th grade advanced math and 8th grade geometry. I'm here for the MathCounts competition. This is my 3rd year doing the competition, and I love it. And the students that I have love it too. They definitely are the best group of kids I could ever ask for. Because it's more than just the math. I see that engineers come here and engineers talk about what they do, and they hope to get excitement out of some students, and maybe hopefully they'll become engineers in the future, or see something else that they might want to do. That it matters, that we do make a difference, especially teachers and coaches, and the students make a difference, because without them competing, then there would be no competition. But from here, they do go on to state too. So they take the top, I think 6, I think it's 6. I had one student last year, individual, that's how I got my shirt. So it's kind of really cool. And then from state, there's national competition as well. They do a lot of practices. Some are in the morning before school, some are after school. They have a lot of practices from last year. So I get to have the actual tests from 2017. They practice those. From 2016, they practice those. So they get to see the type of questions and practice, and they compete between each other. So it's like when you have your own team, they try to compete to be number one in their team. I love it. I think it's great that they get confidence, and that they can do anything, same as anyone else.
Just always try. Go for it, try it. If you've never done it, try it. Because you might find out that you actually love it and you never knew. Definitely. Well, that's what I see every day when I have them in my own classroom. And then you get to this part where you have 100 and plus students. So yeah, because they're as excited as they are in my classroom, then I see them even more excited over here.
My name is Jose Duque. I'm from Northport, Florida, and we're here for the MathCounts competition that my son is in. It's very tough. He was actually here last year, and he placed 35th, I believe, out of I don't know how many, over 100. So he did fairly well being a 6th grader and being his first time. So we're hoping to improve on that this year. I do. I actually love math myself, and he very much took on that from me, I guess, and the mom likes it as well. So yeah, it's something that you have to love, and he definitely has that love. It's important because it's all about the education and learning to compete. That's one of the things, and it shows you that you don't always have to win. I mean, it's good to be on top, but just to be part of the competition, it's great. I love it. That's one of the things that I like the most, is that you're able to work together as a team, and then they also have the individuals, where you can showcase your own skills. And I think that more parents should get involved and come out to these things, because it's one thing to hear them talk about it, but to come out here and to actually see the excitement in these kids' faces, because like I said, they can talk about it all they want, but when you come out here and you see it, it's a whole nother thing. I encourage parents to come out and look at it.
My name is Marc Jones. I'm the 8th grade math teacher at St. Stephen's Episcopal School in Bradenton, Florida. I've had the privilege of coaching the MathCounts team for the last 25 years, and it's something that is near and dear to my heart. I think it's a phenomenal way to get the kids excited about mathematics in a fun environment. It's a challenging environment, but a fun environment, and it certainly brings the best out of the students, who are just amazing. I started 25 years ago, and trust me, we didn't have as many schools participating as what we do now. The Florida Engineering Society have done a great job in marketing the event. Once the schools and the kids come out to participate, they're hooked. It's a great way to get the kids motivated and want to learn math, which is what at the end of the day we all want. I tell you what, it's great for the confidence. The kids come in, we're throwing some pretty difficult problems at them, and to see these kids working, collaborating, working as groups to solve some problems that are, trust me, not easy, is wondrous. I mean, I've got certain strategies and ways to solve problems, and it's great to see the kids coming up with their own strategies that are often better than my way. So I'm thrilled at the competition. I'm thrilled at the way that it gives great incentives for the kids to want to learn mathematics, and hopefully put them on that career path for mathematics in the future. Yeah, well, first of all, my hat goes off to all of the coaches that devote their time, put a lot of time and effort to giving the opportunity for our kids to excel at mathematics. So what I do personally here at St. Stephen's, we have a math club in the middle school. We work on different MathCounts problems, and we kind of, it's a great way to start a lesson when you put a MathCounts engineering type of problem on the board for the kids to collaborate and work at. And it excites the kids, and it gets the kids motivated to come out and want to practice. So we practice collectively as a group. We've been working during our study halls, where the kids are giving up their study hall to come out and practice. We'll put problems on the board, we'll go through them, explain some different techniques to solving the problems. Another thing we do here at St. Stephen's, we've been very fortunate with a lot of quality math students, and we've also got some middle school MathCounts alumni that are still at St. Stephen's that come back and want to devote their time and give their perspective and their different techniques that they've used in the past to solve problems. So it's a collective effort, and I'm very proud to be coaching these kids. A great group of kids. I mean, 25 years ago, when I started teaching here at St. Stephen's, there were far more males, far more of the boys were taking math than the girls, which is something that was not good. And it was nothing to do with St. Stephen's. It was just the kids. The girls were kind of thinking, I can't do math, which of course is completely incorrect. The girls can do math at least as well as the boys. So right now, if you look at the teams we've had over the past 15, 20 years, it's pretty much split down the middle between the girls and the boys. And the girls are just as excited to do math problems as the boys, and they are just phenomenal. I mean, all of these kids, and both girls and boys, about their level of math and their desire to get better. It really, truly is remarkable. Oh, 100%. If it's not fun, the kids aren't going to come out and do it. We collectively, collaboratively work on problems. The kids love, to work on problems together, come up with different ideas to solve them, and it's just a lot of fun. We try to make practices fun. The kids are, keen to come out, again, giving up their time to practice, and I think that says a lot about, MathCounts organization and, what MathCounts is all about. It really does ignite and invigorate kids to be the best they can be at math, and, I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
My name is Greg Stevens. I am the chapter president of the Florida Engineering Society for the Myakka chapter. I am here today to witness a bunch of youngsters who are better at math than me. We're at the MathCounts competition, which is for middle school level students that are interested in math, and they come here and we put on a competition for them. It's great to see this amount of participation. In the last couple of years, the best part is that we've seen an increase in female participation, which has been huge for us. It's been something that several of our members, like Near to LaFontaine, have been pushing for a while now. And so that's been one of the most encouraging things that we've seen over the past couple of years, that I'd say. Certainly, of course, participation from everybody has been great, and it's great to see the excitement on the kids' faces all the way through the competition. Well, I'll tell you right now, this is called the lightning round coming up. So the first half of the day is a written portion, which can take a little bit of time, but now it's all about who can answer the fastest. And watching these kids answering the lightning round. If I dare anybody to come out here during one of these competitions and try and answer faster than these kids, it is crazy. You have a room full of engineers that sit in awe of these kids. I would like to give a big shout out to the Florida Engineering Society and the American Society of Civil Engineers. They're two heavily represented factions here, organizations here. And both of them are heavily involved in our community and doing great things to generate interest in engineering and math and everything involved with that. Also, Manatee County, the government brought several representatives out today. It's great to see them get involved like this, and it's great to see engineers getting involved in our community. So we're very proud of all the engineers that volunteered today. I think we're looking at 30 plus. The kids love it, and it's great to see that at an age where some might lose interest and then wish that they hadn't lost interest later on, it's great to keep their interest at this level. And so transferring it from the elementary school level to the middle school to the high school is really important to us. So it's great to see that bridge happening and keep their excitement at this age.